Every customer is different. They run different workloads. They have different purposes. And so rather than having a static dashboard like we have currently on the screen, we wanted customers to be able to change it around and focus on the information that was most important to them. Yeah, so currently right now we are in public preview. And so if you were to go to the dashboard, you're going to find this blue banner here. And to try out the new dashboard, you'd simply click on that link. And what you're going to first notice right away is that it looks essentially the same as the static dashboard. We are starting out when you first go to it with the exact same components displayed on the screen. We're actually calling these widgets. And so you have your jobs overview, you have your queue overview, and you have your compute environment overview. The biggest change on your static dashboard is that we've enhanced the job queue overview and the compute environment overview with two additional features. One, you can now search for a specific queue. So if I wanted to find my getting started queue, I just start typing into the search box and it'll automatically find that queue for me. The second thing that we've done is we've created the ability for you to show how many of the resources you want. So maybe you only want to see 5 queues. You can actually set that and it will paginate. Yeah. And then you can still search and find for whatever queue you're looking for. So some people have a lot of queues and maybe they want to minimize the screen size by listing just a few. You can also collapse the box and have it expandable so that only when you want to see it. And that same thing applies here to the compute environment overview. You can see here that I've got 2 pages. I can go to the next page. I've got a variety of different compute environments. So the first thing I want to do is go up here and I'm going to add a new widget. And that's going to bring up a screen, the add widget screen, of course. And it says that I can add up to 7 more widgets. So for purposes of performance and scalability, right now we are limiting you to 10 widgets. You'll see here that the jobs overview, the job queue overview, and the compute environment overview are already added to our dashboard, which we just saw. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a single job queue. So I'm going to pull up and I'm going to list my queue that I care about, the do not delete Fargate JQ. And I only care about the succeeded and failed. I don't care about what's running and what's runnable. So I'm going to limit my things here to just those 2 statuses. And then I have the ability to choose what kind of compute environment properties I want to see for the compute environment that's connected to that queue. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. And I choose add. It takes me back. And as you can see, I've now added my specific queue. I now have my specific statuses that I care about. You'll notice that I have other queue statuses that are listed in the overall overview here. I have 1,000 plus runnable jobs, but up here in my specific queue, I'm only showing the ones that I want to see. And then I can see what compute environment is connected. I can see the state of that compute environment. And this time I'm going to add job logs. Sometimes we have these long running jobs that we need to be able to kind of monitor the job logs. And rather than have to drill down or go search into CloudWatch, we decided we'd give customers an opportunity to drop one of those right onto their dashboard. So I'm going to add a widget to identify the logs for that job is by job ID. So if you know that job ID or you have it listed, you can copy and paste it here, or you can go find that job ID by opening up a job tab where you can then get your list of jobs. And I'm just going to take this very first one here. Notice that we've added a copy icon to the job ID. So you can then click to copy the value to your clipboard. And then when you go to the widget and you add a job log widget, you can then paste that right into the box and choose add. And so now it's going to go and it's going to pull up my logs. And this job happens to have finished, but maybe the job hasn't finished. And so you can monitor the job logs right there on your dashboard as you go. If you don't want to crowd your dashboard with the whole thing, you just collapse that box. It's still there. It's available to you. And you can then just come back and check it from time to time, depending on what your need is. Now let's add the last widget that we have available, and that's the Container Insights widget. Which a lot of our customers have expressed a desire to be able to see what's happening with the compute environment that is running. And so as you can see here, but what we've got here is we've got all the information about our container insights for that particular compute environment, so that we can monitor and see how much CPU is being used and how much memory is being used. The advantage of this is you don't, again, have to drill down into the actual compute environment details and to that compute environment detail tab that has this information. You can put it right onto your desktop or onto your dashboard. And that way, as you're watching your jobs run, or you have a series of jobs running, you can see what's happening in your container right away and determine if there's any kind of issue that you need to be aware of.
I know lots of folks who've got very big screens hung on walls in their operations area with these kinds of dashboards on it, just giving them constant feedback about what's going on in their IT infrastructure, letting them know that most of the time it's letting them know that everything is okay, but it actually helps them set a baseline of what is normal. And so they can pretty quickly spot abnormal, which is a great way to prevent disasters.
We've added several of these widgets, but let's say the job logs, I don't need to have those at the top. It's a rather large, it's rather large and it takes up a lot of room, and I'm only going to check it periodically. So I click over here, and now I can move this down, and I can change the order of the job logs to put it where I want to put it, and not necessarily at the very top where it was added. In the future, as an iteration, we will be adding some drag and drop functionality. We're not quite there yet, so you can just grab that bar and drag it up or drag it down. So you have the ability to kind of customize all this process to make it work for you. And that's the important part of what we're trying to accomplish, is creating an environment where you can be more productive and get the information that you need when you need it. And so that booth is our customizable dashboard. We are in public preview right now. In the next 2 weeks, we default currently to the old dashboard, which is static. We are going to, in the next 2 weeks, make the switch where this becomes the default view. And then we will officially launch where you won't be able to move back and forth between either of them. We'll officially launch, hopefully, on May the 4th.
David, thank you for this. Thanks to all of the people in the team for building this for customers. They're all going to love it, I'm pretty sure. And if anybody's got any ideas about things they would like to see in here, you can always, of course, get in touch with us by reaching out to us on askhpc@amazon.com. I'll put the email address up on the screen. And Absolutely. If you've got ideas about how to make this better, we can get those ideas straight back to the team. If you learned something from this talk, then please consider giving us a like and subscribing to the channel so you can find out when more videos like this are available. And if there's an area you'd like to see us go deeper into, don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. See you next time.